This woman finds out her loving husband has been cheating on her through a DM, and you won't believe what happens next. So this woman, her name is Tife. Tife has been living what she thinks is the perfect life for 7 years. She has her own business and lives comfortably with her husband and 3 children. Every morning, she is doing school runs in her underpilot, managing her shop, and coming home to prepare delicacies for when her husband, Mide, returns from his oil and gas travels. She has built her entire identity around being the supportive wife who never questions her husband's frequent absence because trust is everything in their marriage. Now, our husband, Mide, he works in oil and gas, he travels constantly, and he has been providing very well for his family. They have built their family around one rule and one rule only, which is to never post about their family on social media. Tife never had a problem with it because, she was so into the relationship. But then, this happens. Tife was at her store sorting out deliveries for the week when she received a random Instagram message from a strange account. The message is coming from someone calling herself Binkwe. She even has the same surname. The woman sends photos showing Mide in what seems like a wedding outfit with her and 2 girls who looked exactly like him. The date on the picture was 2015, and that was exactly 2 years before Tife even met Mide. Binkwe tells her she knows it's shocking, but Mide was her husband first. Hold up. Mide was her husband first as how? And she even tells her that he lives with her when he travels for work. Tife is so confused as she scrolls through pictures of her husband braiding a little girl's hair, celebrating birthdays, and some of these pictures are even very recent from last month. She realizes that every single business trip to Port Harcourt was actually Mide going home to his other family. That evening, when Mide walked through their front door talking about his Lagos meeting, Tife is waiting in the bedroom with her phone. She confronts him right there in the room and shows him Binkwe's messages and watches his reaction. This man immediately drops to his knees, begging her to lower her voice so the children won't hear. That's when he starts telling the truth, and every single word he says is even more shocking than the previous. He tells her he can explain, and he goes on to say he married Binkwe traditionally in 2015, but it is complicated. He tells her he did it because he didn't have a choice. Her father has helped him get his first major contract with his company when he desperately needed a job. He says that they invested so much in his education and his business connection. He tells her he tried to end it, but when he met her, but her family only threatened to destroy his career. As Mide keeps talking, she realizes that everything they have, the house, the cars, the children's expensive private school fees, all of it came from the business connection tied to his first marriage. And if she forces him to choose, it could mean financial ruin to her own children. But guess what, guys? What happens next is even more shocking. The next morning, while Mide is in the shower, he starts receiving a WhatsApp message from one Folake. Tife looks to see and sees some intimate picture of this woman and Mide. She's talking about their arrangement and special meeting. Tife is scrolling through evidence of a 3 years affair where this Folake got pregnant, moved to Abuja, and recently returned to Lagos with a toddler she claims belongs to Mide. The message reveals that Folake has been threatening to destroy Mide's career unless he marries her officially. She has been the one funding his business expansion, family lifestyle through inflated contracts. So now, Tife realizes that she's not just competing with one other wife, but potentially a third woman who has more power and resources than both Binkwe and herself combined. This is too much for her to process. She calls in sick to her shop and drives aimlessly through the traffic until she ends up at a beach, sitting in her car crying. She calls her sister Pauline in London, who immediately books a flight home to be with her sister. When Mide returns that evening, Tife presents him with screenshots of everything and gives him an ultimatum. She tells him he has 48 hours to choose between her and the women, or she lives with her children. He starts explaining that Folake controls contracts worth millions, and Binkwe family could blacklist him entirely from the oil and gas industry. He reveals that he has been living in fear for years, trapped between these powerful women and their family. That night, Tife moves to the guest room and starts thinking about what to do next. 2 weeks later, after Pauline arrives from London to help gather evidence, Folake shows up unannounced at their Lekki home on a Saturday morning. unplacked audacity. She brings her toddler son and a team of lawyers, announcing to Tife that she is tired of hiding and wants Mide to choose between his wife and a woman who can make him a multi-millionaire. It's happening right there in their living room while all three children are watching from the staircase as Folake details her sexual relationship with Mide and her financial control over his business. Then Mide also shows up from Port Harcourt with her daughters. Three women are facing each other in Tife's own sitting room, and Mide is standing in the center, completely broken and unable to choose, finally admitting he's financially and emotionally dependent on all of them in different ways. Tife made her decision right there. She looks at this pathetic man who has been playing all of them, and she realizes that she and her children deserves better. 6 months later, Tife filed for a divorce and moved with her children to a smaller but comfortable flat in Ikeja. She sold her jewelries and took a share of their joint properties to fund this new life. Her boutique business is actually thriving because she's channeling all her pain into work, and she discovers strength that she never knew she had. Tife is braiding her daughter's hair when she received a WhatsApp message from an unknown number. The message is from a woman who needed advice from her. She claims to be married to her husband. So wait, you guys, he married a fourth wife. And she just found out that he impregnated someone else, which means that this man now has 5 women in his life. Okay. Tife stared at the message and she looks at her children who are healthy, laughing, and free from the toxic web of lies. She deletes it without responding. She realizes that Mide's pattern will continue with new victims, but she and her children are finally free.